wish Battle.net would tell me how many hours I play. Because I'm curious on, and you gotta understand that I'm trying to get my balance of life back into gaming, which there's no way in hell I'm ever going to be classified as a hardcore gamer ever again because I had to make a decision of career or gaming and which one pays me. So that's an easy decision for me. So, but it's nice to get back into these games and having 41 games on here and still having because never in my history of owning PCs have and like I said, my first one was 1994. It's a cornerstone of my life, so I'll never forget that year. Let's go here. I mean, never, guys, have I had a 2 terabyte hard drive free of space and have half to 3/4 of a drive left. Okay, and have 4 drives. Now I've always had 4 drives. Okay, but there was always in a RAID. This is the first time I haven't set ones up in a RAID like this because I'm using a backup system. Okay, which my RAID before was my backup system. Okay, never had a failed drive. That might not be true. I think I had one in a mirror set one time. Uh, but this is the best position I've ever had in storage, except when I have 40 terabytes in my data center. Okay, my little mini data. Well, I called it a data center, but I mean, it was. I mean, that's what it was. And I'm going to be rebuilding a new one, just not short. Just not soon. And I will be getting my 40 terabytes back. Because 40 terabytes of space, guys, it's just, for the win. That's all I can say. Now, let's go back to our attempt of doing Spanish. Okay, cancel that. I need to get that fixed. Recent drawings, which... Oh, no. I never saved that document. So we gotta do this again. Okay, so, give me a second, guys. I'm coughing here. Well, lesson learned. Okay, we need to save our documents if we're going to use them again. This is not something I do on a regular basis, saving my documents. Especially as a new or a novice or someone, a beginner or whatever. I would recommend not saving it because the more you design your stuff over and over and over again, okay, how do I put this? Okay, so you know what? Here's the reality. Okay, when I was doing my CCNA, okay, I have erased the configurations 1,000 times over. Okay, started from scratch until I got familiar with the equipment and be able to render my mistakes back where I didn't have to erase and reboot the configs. Okay, all right, and that was just a norm. Okay, all right. Every diagram and every lab that I did was a diagram from scratch. Even if it was the same diagram, it was written out on paper. Okay, which here we're using Visio. So always seem to have a hard time finding networking. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our 4 switches here. So, I don't care if you're using the same diagram, which I would recommend not to, okay, because all you're doing is just now, you're not teaching yourself anything else as far as topologies are concerned and traffic paths and things like that, okay? All right, so, um, and redoing the, why do I always do that? It's just like amazing how I do that constantly. Okay, so now we're gonna group these here. Okay, I would rather you redraw the diagram 1,000 times. Okay, all it does is make you efficient on how you're doing it, whether you're drawing it out on paper or using Visio, which I would recommend using. Okay, not the easiest program to get. Matter of fact, I got to call Microsoft today to find out how I can get the damn software without having to put in a business phone number and all that crap. But nonetheless, Microsoft decided to use Visio as a means of focusing on business, which is ridiculous. Okay, all right, it's just ridiculous. But I'm not getting down there. I'm getting down to there. So now, all right, so let us. I'm using my gamepad, not my keyboard. Okay, so now let's change this to switch 2. Alright. Switch 3. Now remember, when we want to go into something that's like in a group, we have to click the item, okay, to select the whole item, and then click the item again where you want to go inside the actual item. Okay, so now we'll kind of. Okay, now remember, you are the engineer. Okay, you found a flaw in a switch. Okay, as a matter of fact, okay, it was such a flaw that it caused a severity 1. Okay, now in our industry, okay, they are several levels of severe outages that your organization would use to identify that the problem is at a certain level. So a Sev 1, okay, which we would call a severity 1, okay, is the highest of importance. That means no matter what's happening, okay, I don't care if you're even at lunch, bring your ass home. Okay, where is home? Your desk. I don't care where your home is. I don't care if it's in the car. It's where your laptop is, your work laptop, and your phone. Okay, so you can be focusing on there. And if you're at lunch, when I mean bring your ass home, okay, while you're driving back to work, okay, all right, scarf down your food while you're driving. All right, get that shit out of the way because you got work to do. You got a Sev 1 on your hands. Does that make sense? Okay, it's now tell your team that well, I'm eating lunch, so fuck y'all. Okay, well that's what we call in our industry a resume updating event. Okay, now take those words as you may, but I mean, hey, okay, never would I. Okay, it is all hands on deck from my aspect, and I don't care if I'm in the middle of my honeymoon. My ass is going to work on a Sev 1. Okay, especially if I get a phone call. So, but that's my dedication to my career. Okay, all right. I would love for you to be the same. Okay, but I can't demand it. I mean, who am I? All right. So now, and we've realized doing that Sev 1. Okay. Now this Sev 1 has been so serious that we had to create a war room. Okay. Now what's a war room? All right. So a war room is definitely an all hands on deck. Okay. It doesn't mean everybody on the network team. It just means the people who are part of that war room are part of that war room. Okay, and but with the war room, okay, there is no leaving that room until the problem is resolved, depending on the industry. Okay, a war room could be 8 to 5. All right, close and go home, which would make no sense because if you're going home during a war room, the war room is there to fix the problem. Now you gotta understand, there's some caveats to a war room. Okay, while in the war room, okay, there's no change control needed. Okay, this is a break fix scenario, and we need to do whatever we can to get this thing back up and running. Okay, so the company can continue to make money. All right, okay. Now, or the company can continue to do business as is. All right, now, okay, we're gonna bring these to the front. Okay, so in the war room, we have decided that switch 4 is not handling spanning tree correctly. Okay, now to solve this issue as a temporary solution from an engineering perspective, okay, engineering perspective, we are considering this a um, um, temporary solution. Okay, but that doesn't mean that's the reality. Okay, so where is my... Okay, so we're going to rebuild this bad boy. Okay, switch 4 is now going to be the root. Because when we switch 4 to the root, okay, we don't have to worry about the root port and none of that stuff, which was causing our issues in the first place. Okay, our costs, taking a longer cost, okay, even though it was recorded in Spanning Tree that the shorter path was 19, but they decided to take the 57th cost for the root bridge. I don't know why. Okay, I think it was 57. I don't know, math ain't my thing. So now, here, we are going to make this purple, I believe, which you made last time. And that is a very strong purple, so... Okay. Didn't we have it darker than that? There we go. You know what? This is what we're going to do. It's kind of dark, so we're going to change this. Come on. Come on. Do you see how my mouse like snaps? Okay, I don't know if it's my and when I mean snap from one part to the other. It happens in my games and everything. I might need to get a different mouse. Okay, I don't know if it's a hardware issue or a software issue, but I have noticed this, and it makes it feel like that I am suffering from old age, and that's not really the case. This is definitely a hardware issue. It's bad enough my glasses have scratches on it, so I got I keep cleaning things that I know ain't gonna get clean. Okay, so now this solves our problem. Now people can do business as is. Now, this temporary solution is now going to be set up as a long-term solution because, all right, the company does not want to buy a new switch. Okay, so what? All right, can we get around it? Yes. All right, you're not going to sit there and lie to them just to get you a new switch. Okay, because non-technical people have a way of finding out technical things. Okay, just by calling the vendor and asking them. Okay, this information is not under your control, and why would you lie to the VPs anyway? Okay, that's not why you were hired. You wasn't hired there to lie to them. Okay, so we could eliminate spanning tree altogether, let that aspect of the switch remain null by creating layer 3 links down to all the switches. That'll solve our spanning tree issue. Or we can make this into the root, and that part's okay. Now, we have to go into our COM ports here. All right, so now, where do you go? You're 3, so you go down here. You 2, you go up here. Okay, this is 4. Okay, so let's do our stagger, or our, let's do it this way. That way I can have the diagram up on the right hand side here. Okay, so now, let's kind of make this a little bit bigger. Come on. Are you serious? Excuse me. Okay, and zoom in a little bit. So now, first of all, okay, um, okay. Now remember, I didn't copy this whole line, so it's not going to be a character to return. So watch. See, I have to hit enter. All right, just little things that you pick up on as you become more and more familiar with this software here. Okay. All right. And then I will be right back. If I can find the actual pause button here. Okay, I don't know how the hell we got 17 minutes in here already. I'm going to have to go back and kind of edit this and figure out what the hell. Why is it taking so long? All right, so no, nonetheless. All right, so we're going to do a line console 0 and do a no exact timeout. That means it'll never go back to the startup screen. And wherever we left off, it'll stay there. Okay, so now, show spanning tree. Okay, now remember, okay, this is not just spanning tree protocol, okay, on a Cisco device. This is per VLAN spanning tree, okay? All right, so that means, okay, that, and it's not rapid spanning tree. I know we talked about that. This is just regular spanning tree. It doesn't really matter. What we're going to talk about is still the same. Okay, so we have set our priority to 0 because the priority here is 1, okay? Meaning that whatever the priority is set to plus whatever VLAN it is going to be the priority. So meaning if I created VLAN 10, okay, notice that VLAN 1 has a priority of 1, which is 0, okay, alright, and this one has a priority of 32,768. So, let us change for VLAN 10 to priority 0. And notice that the VLAN now for VLAN 10 is priority 10 because that priority was set to 0. So it's your priority is always going to be whatever you set it to plus the number of the VLAN will give you your priority. Since both these priorities for VLAN 1 and 10 are set to 0, what does that tell you? But I gotta understand, okay? This is per VLAN spanning tree, meaning that there is going to be a spanning tree instance, okay, for VLAN 10, and a spanning tree instance for VLAN 1. Now, this is cool because I can set this. All right, and I'm doing it already. I'm doing it again. Okay, so control. Okay, and this could be the root for VLAN 10. Okay, all right, meaning that my blocking port in this topology for VLAN 10 is going to be different for VLAN 1. Okay, now why would I do that? Well, think about it, because that gives me the ability to not have a single blocking port for all the VLANs, meaning that I don't have a link that is not utilizing any traffic whatsoever, and I'm optimizing my spanning tree in a way that I am using maximum bandwidth. You got to understand. Okay, so if I have this one blocked here, okay, this port here, which we're going to make a circle here. Okay, all right, and we are going to make this that color right there. Okay, and then go up here, stop, come on. Okay, so for VLAN 1, okay, all right, this port is blocked. All right, it doesn't matter that this port is designated, because it would be. Okay, meaning that traffic will be going over to switch 2 over to here, but blocked on switch 1. Okay, I might be utilizing that bandwidth from a perspective of the bandwidth is being utilized because this port is designated and I could send traffic in that direction. But because it's blocked on switch 1, the traffic goes nowhere. So I might be utilizing the bandwidth on this link, but I'm not utilizing the bandwidth from a perspective of traffic being flowed from source to destination. Okay, because there's a blocking port that when switch 1 gets any data on that port, it gets zapped. Bye bye. Okay, so they're from a user's perspective, using that path, it goes nowhere. Okay, if I was doing simple pings and those pings went down that path, those pings will come back timed out. Okay, so you don't get any bandwidth from a data source to destination perspective. Okay, all right. So if that's a gig link, you got a whole gig not being utilized. I don't care if it is being utilized, but you're not going to see it from a working perspective, like doing what it needs to be done to get your data utilized. Your data goes nowhere. Okay, so that part does not get utilized, and now you're losing a gig of bandwidth. Okay, now, but for VLAN 10, okay, that port that's being blocked could be over here. Okay, and let's kind of change that here. All right, and so now what you are seeing here. Oh, my bad. So now what you're seeing here is, from a perspective of VLAN 1, I am losing 1 gig link, okay? But for VLAN 10, I'm losing a 1 gig link too, okay? But I'm going to use the blocking link that VLAN 1 is not. Meaning that I am using all my links. I hope I explained that correctly. Okay, because as I'm replaying it back in my head, there is a way of you taking it in the wrong way. But keep in mind, this is a sense of understanding why we need to understand span and tree. Okay? Alright? So, from that perspective, I'm in this video. And I will see you guys on the next one. So, be strong, be determined, be Cisco.